everyone, I am Lasty Manderico from BEED-2. My topic is all about the assessment of one's teaching practice. So, my topic is about the reflective practice based on performance evaluation. So, ano nga ba ang reflective practice? When we say reflective practice, in its simplest form, is thinking about or reflecting on what you do. It is closely linked to the concept of learning from experience, in that you think about what you did and what's happened and decide from that what you would do differently next time. Reflective practice is essentially the look back to move forward approach. It is the process of stepping back from an experience to carefully evaluate what happened, why it happened, and how you feel about it. In a professional context, it transforms raw experience into deliberate learning. Rather than just moving from one task to the next, a reflective practitioner asks, what went well? What was challenging? What would I change if I did this again? Reflective practice in elementary teaching. For elementary educators, reflective practice is vital because the classroom environment is highly dynamic. You are constantly balancing lesson objectives with the diverse emotional and academic needs of young learners. There are types of reflection. First is the in-action reflection. This happens during the lesson. If you notice students looking confused or disengaged during a math activity, you reflect in the moment and pivot. You might switch from a lecture to hands-on manipulative or a quick think, pair, share to recapture their attention. The second is on-action reflection. This happens after the school day. You review your monthly consolidated reports or students' attendance patterns to see if there are trends. For example, if several students are consistently absent on Fridays, you reflect on whether the Friday curriculum needs more engaging hands-on activities to encourage better attendance. Third is using feedback. Reflective practice also involves looking at students' work and evaluations. By analyzing where the majority of the class struggled on a science rubric, you reflect on whether the concept, example the soil types, was explained clearly or if the assessment tool itself was too complex for their grade level. Understanding reflective practice. At its core, reflective practice is the cycle of turning an experience into a lesson. It is the transition from just doing something to understanding why it happened and how it can be improved. Instead of finishing a task and moving on immediately, you pause to evaluate the outcome against your intentions. It generally follows a simple three-step rhythm. Number 1 is what or what happened. Number 2 is so what or what does this mean or what did I learn. Number 3 is now what or how will I act differently in the future. In an elementary classroom, reflective practice serves two purposes. It helps you grow as an educator and it helps students become metacognitive or thinking about their own thinking. For the teacher, you use reflection to bridge the gap between your lesson plan and the actual classroom energy. After a lesson, you might ask yourself, did the students meet the learning objectives? Which part of the instructions caused confusion? Was the pacing too fast for the younger learners? For the teacher, you use reflection to bridge the gap between your lesson plan and the actual classroom energy. After a lesson, you might ask yourself, did the students meet the learning objectives? Which part of the instructions caused confusion? Was the pacing too fast for the younger learners? Number 2, for the students, you can teach children to reflect by providing them with reflection frames. Since elementary students are still developing their analytical skills, reflection should be structured and visual. For the exit slips, a quick one thing I learned and one thing I'm still curious about before the leave for recess. For self-correction, allowing the students to look at a fun assignment and write one sentence on how they would solve a missed problem now. So, what is reflective practice? Reflective practice involves integrating into daily life on a routine basis, which raise awareness from critical analysis and aid management and decision making. Reflective practice is a continuous process of looking back at your actions and thoughts to gain new insights. It is not just thinking, it is a structured way of evaluating your experiences to improve how you handle similar situations in the future. Reflective practice means learning to pay attention, noticing patterns, changing what we see, and changing the way we see. In learning to pay attention, this is the foundation. It means moving beyond just doing a task and starting to observe the details of the present moment, your feelings, the reactions of others, and the environment. In noticing patterns, after paying attention, you begin to see repetitions. Do you always get frustrated at the same time? Does a specific student always disengage during a specific subject? You are identifying the rhythm of your habits. In changing what we see, once you notice patterns, your focus shifts. Instead of just seeing an autistic student, you start to see a student who is frustrated by a difficult task. You begin to look for different data points. And in changing the way we see, this is the deepest level. It involves shifting your perspective or mindset. It is the transition from this is the problem I have to fix to this is an opportunity for me to learn and adapt my approach. In an elementary classroom, reflective practice helps you bridge the gap between a lesson plan and the actual human experience of the children. It allows you to become an adaptive teacher rather than a rigid one.